Welcome to Module 5, Promoting Optimal Social Emotional Development of Infants and Toddlers in Early Childhood Settings. This module addresses how child caregivers can promote optimal social and emotional development of infants and toddlers. The module is divided to allow completion in two separate online sessions. The first session provides an overview of social emotional health, attachment and connection, and temperament. The second session provides approaches to promote optimal social emotional development for infants and toddlers during specific ages and stages. The sessions should be completed in sequential order for an optimal learning experience. You are presently in Session 2, which will be about 1/2 hour in length. If you have already finished Session 1 as recommended, you will be able to download your training certificate after watching this video and completing the related post-test and training evaluation. The content of this module is based on the third edition of Caring for Our Children, which is the definitive source on best practice in health and safety in early care and education settings. Links to the standards used in the development of the content in this training session are available on the Social Emotional Development module page of Building a Healthy Start website at www.adph.org/healthystart. All of the Caring for Our Children standards are available online at www.nrckids.org. It is important to understand the difference between standards, guidelines, and regulations when discussing best practice in child care. This knowledge will help you to better incorporate the information that you receive today into your daily practice. A standard is a statement that defines a goal of practice. It is usually based on scientific evidence. It is stronger than a recommendation or a guideline, but differs from a regulation because compliance is not necessarily required for legal operation. Examples of national standards include Caring for Our Children and the ASTM International Standards for Product Safety, such as their crib safety standards. A guideline is a statement of advice or instruction. A guideline is issued from an organization with acknowledged professional standing and usually comes from a perceived need for such guidance. One example of guidelines is the Choose My Plate campaign from the United States Department of Agriculture, also known as the USDA. A regulation, however, is a standard or guideline that becomes a requirement for legal operation. A regulation comes from an agency with governmental or official authority and is accompanied by enforcement activity. Examples of regulations include the Alabama Department of Human Resources licensing standards and the Health Department's food safety regulations. Because creating regulations is a lengthy legal process, regulations, although they still must be followed, may become outdated and no longer represent best practice. Please remember that the content of this module is based on the best practice standards published in Caring for Our Children. These standards may or may not have been adopted as regulations in Alabama. Caregivers should be familiar with state and local child care regulations and operate in compliance with such regulations. As you will recall from Session 1, social emotional health is the developing capacity of infants and toddlers to form close and secure relationships, to experience, regulate, and express their emotions in socially and culturally appropriate ways, and to explore their environment and learn within the context of family, community, and culture. A consistent, nurturing, and supportive environment, both at home and in the child care setting, is the foundation for healthy social emotional development. Development of social emotional health begins the moment a child is born. In Part 4, we will look at the social emotional development of infants at different ages and explore ways to promote optimal social emotional development. Healthy social emotional development starts during infancy as children's needs are met. Face-to-face interaction with caregivers is of utmost importance. Infants cannot play and entertain themselves. They need consistent or nurturing attention and interaction from caregivers. Caregivers can promote social emotional development by providing sensitive and responsive interactions, meaningful communication, and opportunities for exploration and new experiences. Take a moment and pause the video to think about what your daily relationships with infants looks like. Imagine that someone is taking pictures of your interactions with children throughout the day. What strengths would be identified? How many moments of joyful interaction make up the day for the children in your care? How might you increase such interaction in your care setting? The next 4 slides provide an overview of what you may observe at different ages during the first 12 months. Newborn infants enter the world ready to attach and respond to their families and other caregivers. During the first 3 months, caregivers may observe that infants show a sense of trust. They make eye contact and track moving persons and objects, smile at the sound of familiar voices, and smile at people, including strangers. Young infants will coo, gurgle, and grunt, and they cry to demand attention to their needs. At 3 to 6 months of age, you may observe that infants babble and laugh to get attention. They begin to interact more, responding to your smiles by smiling back, and may watch older children and their actions. Very young infants may calm themselves by sucking their fingers, thumbs, or pacifiers. By 6 months of age, infants recognize voices of familiar people and distinguish voice tones and emotions. You may observe that infants respond according to your voice tone. They relax when cuddled, rocked, and spoken to with a soothing voice. At this age, infants begin to enjoy simple games with adults and older children. They usually explore toys and objects by mouthing and may also shake, rub, and bang objects on the floor. Older infants are more mobile and better able to communicate their wants and needs through actions, such as crawling and reaching for people and objects they desire. They show more definite responses to specific situations. For example, they may show anxiety on separation from familiar adults or in the presence of strangers. They begin to initiate social play with laughter and squeals. They also display anger with more purpose. Infants of all ages learn through interactions with their caregivers, talking and singing to infants during daily routines, encouraging them to safely explore their environment, playing games with them, and cuddling them throughout the day promotes social emotional development. Consistent routines, such as feeding, diapering, and rocking, are an important part of each day. These routines not only meet infants' basic needs, but also provide opportunities for learning. As you quickly respond to infants and meet their needs, you help them develop a sense of security. Remember that routines with infants are not on a schedule. Everything is as needed and on demand. Feed infants when they are hungry, change their diapers when wet or soiled, hold and cuddle them if they are fussy and before they go to sleep, and let them sleep as often and as long as needed. You promote social development when you touch and cuddle infants throughout each day. Promote communication and security by talking and singing to them when holding and rocking. Encourage back and forth conversations with gestures, babbling, and gurgling. Talk with infants and explain what you are doing when diapering and feeding. Promote social emotional development when feeding infants. Let them play with your fingers and explore bottles during feeding. And touch food and spoons when solid foods are introduced. Promote independence and skill by allowing infants to hold a baby spoon while you feed them with another spoon. Reassure infants during daily arrival and departure routines. Be sure parents say goodbye and give hugs before leaving, and allow infants to have transitional objects such as a favorite toy, blanket, or pacifier. When parents arrive to pick up their children, be sure that you also say goodbye to each child. Infants are curious and interact with their immediate environment. Provide a safe environment and toys for infants to explore. As infants develop physically, their body movements indicate interest, first turning their heads and bodies to track objects, and later moving towards objects by scooting and crawling. Infants explore objects by using all of their senses. They rub an object against their cheeks, put it in their mouths, and bang it on the floor. Provide a safe environment and appropriate toys. Caregivers can promote early exploration by laying an infant on her back and holding a brightly colored toy over her chest within her reach. Play tracking games by moving yourself and objects back and forth. When holding infants, place them in various positions to give different views and provide opportunity to move in different ways. Bring objects and toys close enough for infants to reach and grasp them. Provide infants with a variety of safe toys with different colors and textures that they can explore with all their senses. Show infants new actions with familiar objects, such as shaking a rattle. Promote exploration and interaction by waiting for the infant to shake the rattle and responding by shaking the rattle again. Expose infants to a variety of toys and learn which ones are favorites. Make sure the environment is safe for exploration every day, especially as infants become more mobile. For example, check the floor for objects that don't belong, such as paper clips. Infants learn through play interactions and experiences with their caregivers. Early play involves responding to the caregiver, such as cooing and smiling, and focusing on objects. Encourage them to explore their hands, fingers, and toes. As infants grow, play skills include exploratory play, such as peekaboo, to help them see that you can come back, even when your face is covered or you turn your back. Modify the peekaboo game by showing an infant a toy, covering it with a blanket, and then showing it again. Use each infant's name frequently in conversation and when playing patty cake and other games with them. Encourage older infants as they begin to imitate play actions and behaviors of others. Observe their actions and follow their lead in play. For example, if an infant picks up a block and moves it to another block, talk with him about what he is doing. Encourage him to explore and move the blocks as long as he is interested. Maintain the nursery environment so you can quickly respond to infant needs. Infants must be in sight at all times and furnishings arranged to allow immediate and easy access to each child. Create and maintain a safe environment, checking all areas daily before children arrive. Cribs and other furnishings must meet safety requirements. Necessary items for diapering and other routines need to be close by and safely stored. Be sure the environment is comfortable and functional for both children and caregivers. Provide safe furniture and settings for rocking, cuddling, and feeding, including breastfeeding. When caregivers are sensitive and responsive to a child's signals and needs, they provide an environment that is rich in serve and return experiences. For example, when an infant cries, babbles, or gestures for attention, he is serving. The caregiver who responds appropriately and consistently with eye contact, words, or positive touch is returning the attention. As serve and return experiences occur, neural connections are built. These connections strengthen the child's brain specific to social-emotional development. Observe each child and watch for verbal and nonverbal cues and interpret the child's needs. Help infants handle feelings by comforting them when crying and helping infants calm down when frustrated. Consistently provide a quick and appropriate response. Your actions and caregiving during the first 12 months of life help build a foundation for infants' social and emotional development. Remember that every infant is unique. Provide each infant with love, understanding, and responsive caregiving. Refer to the handout, Social Emotional Development, Infants. This handout provides many suggestions for caregivers on how to promote optimal infant social emotional development. Social emotional development continues during the toddler years. In Part 5, we will look at the social emotional development of toddlers at different ages and explore ways to promote optimal social emotional development. Happy toddlers are curious and exuberant in nearly everything they do. Toddlers are discovering the world, using their senses to purposely explore everything they can. They enjoy making things happen, such as dropping a ball to watch it bounce, sometimes down a toilet. Completion of simple tasks gives them pleasure and a sense of accomplishment and independence. Toddlers are beginning to develop the ability to form satisfying relationships with others, play, communicate, and learn, and experience the full spectrum of human emotions. Attachment and connection refer to a two-way relationship between the caregiver and the child. Attachment is an enduring emotional relationship to a specific person, such as primary caregiver. Connection occurs as caregivers get to know and understand the children in their care, and in return, children learn to know and understand their caregivers. Promote attachment and connection by maintaining the same caregivers for as long as possible. Toddlers need the security of familiar faces. However, if it is necessary to change caregivers and/or environments, introduce the child to the new caregiver and the new space over a period of time. After the change, allow the child to occasionally visit with previous caregivers if possible. Provide care for toddlers in small groups and with appropriate child-staff ratios. Caring for our children recommends a 2:1 child-staff ratio with a maximum group size of 8 for young toddlers. For older toddlers, a 3:1 child-staff ratio with a maximum group size of 12 is recommended. This small group size facilitates individualized approaches to care. Allow one-on-one time with each toddler each day. Provide physical nearness by cuddling, rocking, and playing on the floor with toddlers. The next 4 slides provide an overview of what you may observe at different ages during the toddler years. At this age, caregivers may observe that toddlers show signs of attachment to parents or primary caregiver. They will go to this person when frightened, hurt, tired, or lonely. Young toddlers primarily play alone, but may play alongside other young toddlers using similar toys. They begin to imitate older siblings or peers and even show signs of teasing adults, such as covering their eyes with their hands and peeking out while grinning. At 18 to 24 months of age, caregivers may observe that toddlers initiate separation from caregivers, but still look for the security of the primary caregiver. When playing, they often look to be sure their caregiver is nearby. Toddlers often play alone, but show more interest in playing alongside other toddlers. They may interact with other toddlers, especially when an adult facilitates by playing a game or demonstrating toys. Toddlers show a sense of trust and attachment and may show signs of stress when the parent or primary caregiver initiates separation. As toddlers reach 2 years of age, caregivers may observe that they show independence in attempting hand washing, brushing teeth, dressing, and other self-care skills. They are aware of and show interest in their own body parts, as well as the body parts of adults and other children. As children begin to show independence, they also may become frustrated if they cannot accomplish what they want. This frustration may lead to tantrums. By age 2, children still play alone, but also begin to interact more and play with other toddlers. As children approach 3 years of age, communication involves more use of words. Caregivers may observe that they can identify and talk about personal feelings with simple words such as scared, fun, funny, feel bad, or mad. They also can identify and talk about the feelings of others. For example, a child may notice another child crying and ask, "What's wrong?" Encourage children as they show interest in helping with simple tasks, such as throwing away trash or returning toys to shelves. Be aware, at this age, children can recite rules but cannot follow them consistently. Provide a safe and consistent environment for fun and play. Toddlers learn through their experiences during daily routines, exploration of their environment, and play and games. Consistent daily routines, such as hand washing and mealtime, meet children's basic needs and also provide opportunities for learning. The familiarity of routines helps children develop a sense of security and control. By providing predictability, routines support competence and confidence. Routines occur throughout each day. Remember, toddlers should not be on a strict schedule. Meet their changing needs and interests with responsive caregiving. Predictable actions during daily routines promote social-emotional development. Learning self-help skills is part of this process. Caregivers can help toddlers learn by talking with them. Explain and model self-help skills during daily routines. For example, offer family-style meals with opportunity to pass foods, take turns, and help clean up. Serve finger foods and provide child-sized utensils as children learn self-feeding skills. Hand washing is another routine that occurs throughout each day. Routines promote independence and self-help skill. As you help children learn to put on jackets and hats for outside play, encourage conversation by asking questions such as, "Can you zip up your jacket?" and "Where's the button?" Practice consistent greeting and arrival routines to help children feel secure that their parent will come back for them. Never let a parent sneak out without saying goodbye. Allow transitional or comfort objects, such as favorite blankets or toys when parents leave. Provide cubbies or other personal spaces for each child. Help toddlers learn to store their jackets, personal items, and comfort objects in their cubbies until needed. Label cubbies with their names and post pictures of children, family members, and pets. Toddlers enjoy playing with objects and toys. Young toddlers generally play alone, but begin to play alongside other young toddlers, often with similar toys. As play skills progress, toddlers begin to interact more with other toddlers. They begin to develop cooperative play and may take leader-follower roles in play. Toddlers enjoy simple pretend play both with adults and with other children. To promote play and games, caregivers can provide age-appropriate and safe toys, including duplicate items, to allow and encourage 2 or more children to interact. For example, if you observe that several toddlers love to play with a red truck or a blue ball, then have 2 similar trucks and balls. Duplicate items encourage side-by-side and interactive play and help prevent disruptive behavior. Rotate toys and materials, occasionally bringing in new items for play while leaving familiar and favorite items available. Engage toddlers in simple pretend play and follow their lead. Toddlers love parades, especially ones with lively music. Create an environment that allows a variety of play, activities, and exploration. An open environment allows toddlers and adults to clap hands, jump, follow a parade, and move to music. Set up a cozy and private place for 1 or 2 toddlers to play. Be sure you can clearly see and quickly access toddlers playing in this area. Encourage interaction with toddlers by inviting them to join activities such as blowing bubbles, moving to music, or listening to a story. Show them how to get into the game or activity. For example, if one toddler is playing with a toy truck, offer a similar toy to another toddler and encourage side-by-side play. Toddlers sometimes prefer to play alone. Acknowledge when they may not want to play with others. Observe when rejection occurs and help them learn how to reject offers or say no in a nice way. You may also offer a different activity that both children might enjoy. Children approach situations in different ways, and some children are more assertive than others. Observe interactions between children, and when necessary, help toddlers learn to stand up for themselves using words. Toddlers are curious and explore their environment with all their senses. The environment must be physically safe at all times because toddlers have no sense of danger or consequences. Encourage children to explore freely within the defined boundaries and extend those boundaries as children learn and develop skill. Be sure that children are within sight and that you can quickly reach them at all times. Young children enjoy looking at themselves, making faces, and watching their own actions. An unbreakable mirror mounted can be very educational and entertaining. By 2 years of age, toddlers are gaining independence and a greater sense of self. They know their own names and are developing language, often using words like me, you, and I. Toddlers are seeking autonomy and may say a definite no or me do it when an adult offers a suggestion. They may frequently change from cooperative to stubborn. They may throw tantrums when frustrated by physical skill level or other barriers. Proper caregiving and a supportive child care environment will help allow autonomy to develop within the boundaries of physical, social, and emotional safety. Provide child-sized furnishings to facilitate independence, confidence, and self-help skills. Allow children to access materials and encourage them to put items away on low, sturdy shelves. Promote development of self-help skills during family-style meals with child-sized tables, chairs, and utensils. Easy-to-reach sinks and sturdy step stools allow exploration and promote independence when hand washing. And toilet training will be easier and less stressful if toddlers have child-sized toilets in a colorful, appealing environment. All behavior has a message. A toddler who comes to you for a hug may be sending a message of happiness and love, or he may be feeling lonely. Challenging behavior, such as tantrums or aggression, also has a message and may be based on a variety of situations. For example, undeveloped skills to meet their intended need may cause frustration and trigger a tantrum. A change in the child care environment or loss of a favorite toy may lead a child to throw other toys. A stressful or frightening event, such as a fire drill or tornado warning, may result in a child reverting to earlier behavior, such as thumb sucking. Children may react to illness or pain in many different ways. Children may not be able to tell you that they don't feel good or have pain. Instead, they may be irritable, fussy, and exhibit challenging behavior. If a child exhibits a change in behavior, consider possible triggers and meet the child's needs. Remember that stressful events or actions that occur in the child's home may lead to challenging behavior in the child care setting. Toddlerhood is the age of autonomy, and many children will test boundaries. Accepting limits set by adults is a challenge for many toddlers, and they often demonstrate their feelings and frustration through physical behavior. When children exhibit challenging behavior, such as throwing toys, focus on understanding the behavior. Try to identify the cause, help meet children's needs, and teach them what to do in place of the challenging behavior. Children imitate behavior they see. Model self-control and show children how you want them to act in time of conflict or frustration. Give guidance in a positive manner, showing children the desired behavior. Use redirection and distraction to modify children's behavior when needed. If a child is frustrated because he is not allowed to leave the room, distract him with an interesting activity within the room. Remember to keep rules simple, realistic, and appropriate. Limit the number of rules. 1 or 2 rules are sufficient. Think about children's age, development, and abilities, and be realistic in your expectations. Introduce toddlers to socialization skills and model behavior such as waiting turns, sharing, and manners. Encourage toddlers to share appropriately, but do not expect them to share everything. For example, a child may need a personal toy or blanket as a transitional object when parents leave each morning, or as a comfort object at nap time. Children should not be expected to share such items. Allow him or her to keep that object in a personal cubby and only use it when needed. Encourage social responsibility through actions. For example, a toddler reaching for a toy may cause another child to drop his own toy. Proper retribution might be for the toddler to pick up the dropped object and hand it to the other toddler. However, do not expect or require toddlers to say, "I'm sorry." Toddlers can better understand actions than words. Words do not have the same meaning to young children as they may have for adults. Toddlers are beginning to recognize and manage their feelings. They may experience a wide range of emotions and express them in the only way they know how, through actions. Toddlers can begin to recognize specific feelings when these emotions are labeled by an adult. Help them learn to express emotions by giving them words such as happy, sad, angry, and scared. The emotion of anger is normal. It may signal frustration, disappointment, annoyance, or fear. Since toddlers have not yet developed positive ways to handle anger, their responses are often physical and disruptive. Temper tantrums may occur when toddlers are frustrated, scared, or even overstimulated and tired. You can help prevent tantrums by knowing and understanding each child and reducing triggers before they occur. For example, if you know a child gets irritable when he is tired, then guide him to quiet activities or allow him to take a nap. The development of language enables children to communicate their questions, desires, and understanding of the world around them. Listen to toddlers and try to understand their thoughts, feelings, and needs. Also, observe them to learn their verbal and nonverbal cues. Build language and communication skills by talking with children throughout the day. When caregivers are sensitive and responsive to a child's signals and needs, they provide an environment that is rich in serve and return experiences. The toddler years are full of wonder and excitement as children learn about themselves and their environment. Make sure every toddler knows that you believe he or she is the most wonderful person in the world. Refer to the handouts Social Emotional Development Toddlers and Social Emotional Development 2-year-olds. These handouts provide many suggestions for caregivers on how to promote optimal social emotional development for toddlers and 2-year-olds. In conclusion, let's remember that promoting optimal social emotional health is the responsibility of every caregiver. Social emotional health is the developing capacity of infants and toddlers to form close and secure relationships, to experience, regulate, and express their emotions in socially and culturally appropriate ways, and to explore the environment and learn within the context of family, community, and culture. Every child is unique. Understand and connect with each child to promote optimal social emotional development. This concludes Session 2 of Promoting Optimal Social Emotional Development of Infants and Toddlers in Early Childhood Settings. If you have not already completed Session 1 as recommended, please do so in order to finish the entire module. Thank you for your participation in this training session. The training module team may follow up with you in 2 months to see how you have used this information. A short post-training survey may be sent to you at the email address you provided during registration.